Good evening, folks. Welcome to the Will and Dave Show. Tonight we've got a really easygoing episode for you. We're going to take it chill. Nice break from all the COVID talk and the politics and the very heavy topics. So, small content advisory getting into tonight's show. There may be an excess of cuteness, niceties, possibly some laughter. We just want you to be aware as we get into the show.
Welcome to the Will and Dave Show.
Hey, William.
Hello, David.
A little bit of an abrupt fade on the music there.
Nice. Someday we'll get it down, Pat.
That'll be the roughest thing in the conversation tonight. Will be that fade.
Here's hoping. Our little pre-show chat didn't bode well.
Yeah,
It's
but we're
habit at this point.
professionals now. We know when to turn it off.
It's true.
We're
So how was your
professionals,
week, Dave?
baby. How was my week? Well, it's hockey season opening up in Spokane, and I'm not going to go to any games for reasons which you know of, which I will not say because I don't want to, but I'm going to be enjoying hockey in
I saw
some way,
your,
shape, or form.
I saw that Allison and Austin, my
Yes, they
sister,
went
your
to the
daughter,
game.
and son-in-law, went to a game. Seattle Kraken.
Yeah.
That's who I'm rooting for.
I've lost all
Not
interest in the NHL. I have to admit, it has gone way down on my list of priorities.
as it should be. It's just a sport.
It was never high on yours.
Yeah. I like Seattle Kraken just 'cause they have a cool logo and name. Like that's it.
Well, you have to admit, yeah, I'm not even going to go there.
Like the Kraken. How it doesn't get a whole lot cooler than calling your team the Kraken. There's cool
Well,
branding opportunities. I'm sure they got some cool light shows going on.
I'm sure, and the fans are called the Crackheads, and you know,
I hope they call themselves that. I
it
really hope.
leads itself to all kinds
I
of fun with the name. Yes, I agree
I,
with
I
you.
I really hope that like the Kraken have like some really friendly, like nice terminology they like to call their fan base, and the fan base just like, nah, we're crackheads, and they just do it regardless.
Yeah. And who are the crack hoes? I mean, that'll be the next question.
Crackheads is gender neutral.
Oh, okay. There we go. Well, the other one can be too. I mean,
I mean, it could.
there's no gender implied there.
This is true. This is true.
Oh man, how the conversation has slipped, and we're not even into the sponsorships yet. I don't know if we want any sponsorships after that one.
Well, we need
Well,
to
let's
pay the
we'll
bills, so
give
to speak.
our sponsorship a shout, and then we'll come back on. The sponsor for this episode is Northern Truss, your one-stop shop for floor systems and for all your truss needs. Phone the team at Northern Truss at 250-787-3033, locally owned and operated in Fort St. John, BC.
Hey there, and thanks for tuning into the Will and Dave Show. I'm Susan, and I don't know about you, but I think that in the whole world there's nothing as warm and comforting as a handmade quilt. And quilters the world over have wonderful stories to tell. So to showcase their stories, I host a podcast. It's called Measure Twice, Cut Once, and Other Life Lessons Learned from Quilters. You can tune in to the podcast anywhere that podcast apps are, whatever your favorite is, or you can find a direct link on my website, stitchedbysusan.com. And now, back to the show.
And if you're feeling so inclined, you may buy me a coffee, which I will send a picture of to William.
That sounds like a fair deal. Yeah, I'm in. Very equitable. Nice.
If you want to support the show, go to buymeacoffee.com/Will and Dave Show. They didn't like the in front of Will and Dave Show, so we just had to do Will and Dave Show. So
Their
buy us
loss.
a coffee. And just for fun, that's the wrong one. I want this one. This is stitched by Susan, your mother, my wife, and she just hit the 10,000 downloads in 6 months.
Squad goals, man.
We've been doing this for a year.
We're nowhere close to that.
I'm gonna.
We don't need to expose ourselves necessarily.
Oh, we're going to expose
And
ourselves.
you're out there
right
doxing
now.
us.
I'm gonna expose ourselves right now, right in public. All time. So we're at 705.
You know what? I'm okay with that.
I'm not okay with that. Your
I mean,
mother is
it's
kicking
not-
our butt.
Well, yeah, she is kicking our butts, but you know what? 700 downloads, that is 700 more downloads than I expected to get going into this project.
Well, there is that. And
Also,
it would
to
have been
number two
more.
fan, Brad, you cannot buy him a coffee. You can buy me a coffee. He's not cool enough for a coffee.
Brad, you know I love you, but you live in Oregon now.
Oh, gross.
And Brad, I can't go to Oregon right now because I just can't. I love you, but you left the state of Washington. I'm not going to Oregon. I'm not going to follow you over there, but maybe someday you can buy me coffee in Lincoln City, yes. But not right now.
Not now. No way.
And I don't believe this for a moment. There is nothing even close to as nice as Susan can do.
Not even close. No contest. No comparison. So, Dave, what's something, because we talk about depressing stuff on this podcast literally every weekend. What is something this week that was just a little ray of sunshine, a silver lining?
Oh gosh,
If you've got
We
multiple, even better.
we have a video of our granddaughter on our group chat that I'm not allowed to play online,
Hmm.
but it has. If there were view counts in iPhone messengers, it would be in the thousands. So
Just
we
watching
had
on
your
repeat.
sister and her husband and your brother over the other night,
Mm-hmm.
and we're sitting around, we're watching James Bond movies because a new one's coming out next week, or this week
Mm-hmm.
actually, yeah, this coming week.
Yeah.
And I think all of us watched it like 5 times that night, and then I threw it up on the TV so we could watch it there. And it just is Kendra doing this little dance of some silly little song. You,
Perfect.
you would have seen if you had an iPhone, except you don't have an iPhone, so you don't get them
Not
anymore.
cool
Sucks
enough.
to be you.
Sucks to me. Sucks to be
But
me.
it is one of the most awesome videos in the world, as because she has discovered her pockets.
Her pockets.
Her pockets. So she is
So she's like
putting
stuffing things in them.
her hands.
Oh, she walks around with her hands in her pockets.
Well, she's doing this little dance, and she's sticking her pockets in, her hands in her pockets, and doing it while she tries to wiggle to "Hello," this new "Hello" song. It isn't "Hello" by Lionel
I don't know.
Richie. It's "Hello" by another guy. I don't know. And
Whoever.
it just is awesome. Absolutely amazing. So yeah, so
Fantastic.
that was my ray of sunshine from the last week and a half or 2 weeks actually, because
Mm-hmm.
it gets seen about once every 3 or 4 hours. And yes, Brad, you are correct. Like, there's nothing like a grandkid.
I wouldn't know, but I know that nieces are pretty awesome. So are nephews. I have some pseudo nephews that are pretty amazing. They're good kids.
So I posted on Facebook this afternoon, and now that we're doing this, and one of the things we're going to be talking about is my super awesome granddaughter.
Mm-hmm.
And a friend of ours posted, "Well, I have the most awesome granddaughters," and I'm like, "I don't think you do."
I'll fight you for that title, and you'll lose. That is a big. That is an American-sized cup, man.
It
That is a
is.
cup that just screams America.
It
We got,
screams lots of water.
I make that joke, but I went to Wendy's the other day and I made the mistake of getting a not even a large drink, but a medium drink, and it
Yes.
was like massive. You can't see. It's massive. It was like there's like the height of this chunk of my water bottle, but half again as big around. Like it was like that's supposed to be. That's like 3 cans of pop, dude.
It is.
It was intense. I couldn't finish it.
And so you shouldn't,
No,
unless it's filled with water, and then
I
you
eat
should
lots of
finish it.
things that are bad for me. That's not one of the ones that I want to be doing.
So I was so this week I was watching a show with a friend of mine, and we were bemoaning our predicaments. And and I don't have a lot really to complain about or to whine about. I really don't, because I have a wife that loves me most of the time. I have awesome kids who love me all of the time, including the one on this show. I have a cat who sits in my lap every now and then. I don't even like him, but he likes me. I mean, what really is there to complain about? And we were complaining about where we were. And we looked at each other as we were doing this. We're complaining, and we started to laugh. And we said, you know, the only one who can fix this really is the person in the mirror. It isn't external. It isn't anybody around us. It just is person in the mirror. And it really reshaped my viewpoint. And that was, for this week, most likely it was the highlight of this week for me. And yeah, we just had to get him off the screen long enough to get the addition to the show.
So I missed your story, but I'm sure it was absolutely lovely.
It was absolutely
This
amazing. I was killing time to get the cat in.
there you go. This is my happiness this week. Well, actually, the last 2 weeks, but last week he was still pretty tiny and shy. He was growing like a weed.
So
I don't know if the show can hear that.
no,
No, you can't. Okay,
his name.
Sindri. He's
How's it
my
spelled?
new co-host. Sindri.
Sindri.
Sindri. Yeah, it's a dwarf from Norse mythology.
No, we can't see him anymore because oh, there he
Yeah,
is.
he's coming around. He likes it. He likes sitting on my shoulder. And the other day, he was sitting on Jordan's shoulder, and he just literally climbs up on top of his head and just sits there
That's
like a little
funny.
perch.
That's funny. So our cat will get in bed
Hmm.
and then he flexes his toes, his claws.
Yeah, kneading. He's doing it right now. You can't really
Yeah.
see it because his paws are tiny, but he'll sit there and he'll just,
Yeah.
yep, he just massages you. Yeah.
No, he doesn't massage. He pokes holes in the comforter. That's not massaging.
Thankfully, this guy's claws are too small, so I barely even feel it. But yeah, he just sits there and does it.
Yeah. It's not my highlight of the day.
Honestly, I think it's adorable. He does it. Like almost all cats do it to varying degrees.
Oh, Sindri, you're a silly cat. So yeah,
He's very silly.
so so those of you who follow us, in the middle of the week, I had an epiphany, so I whipped out my phone and I made a short about it. As it sort of meant a lot that the way out of your predicament almost always is who you see in the mirror.
Hmm.
And so I made a short about it.
Nice.
It's on YouTube if you care to watch it.
Yeah. You can be expecting a lot more YouTube shorts coming out of us because I've got some in the works. You've been pumping out some. We decided to go that route instead of TikTok, and I think it's the better route for us and for our audience.
I think anything that says that we are not on TikTok is a good thing.
I mean, I have like a love-hate relationship with TikTok, but not enough that I want to be on it.
I love to hate it. So I opened it up again the other day. I have it on my phone,
Hmm.
and I don't know. So I said this when I opened it up initially, and I opened my account. So I listed all the things I like,
Right.
sports and news and politics and all that stuff, and and I opened up the app, and what do I get? Whole bunch of
Boobs.
twerking teenagers.
Yeah.
A- And that
Welcome
was
to the internet, Dave.
nowhere in the stuff that I said I liked. I'm like, what
Yeah.
the heck? This is not the way it's supposed to be.
Statistically, more people like that stuff, so they feed it to everyone. And yeah,
Well,
algorithms, baby. But we're not talking about depressing things today.
no, no, we're not. We're talking about the cat
That's
that's
right.
on your shoulder.
Be careful. Yeah.
Yes.
He's trying to get comfortable, but he can't quite do it. His motor skills aren't quite all there yet.
Well, and you're leaning sideways now to compensate for him.
A little bit. I'm leaning back a little bit so he doesn't tumble down my torso.
So if you're wondering, folks, he really is not a crooked guy. He just is sitting crooked tonight.
Yeah.
Oh, 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 oh.
So yeah, we're gonna work on him being my new co-host.
There we go. He seems to like your beard.
He loves it. I have to lock him out of my bedroom when I go to sleep because he'll just go up and he won't stop pushing against my beard and brushing up against it. He thinks it's the best thing ever. It's really hard to be upset though. Like I can come home from the worst day at work and he's like, "Oh, you're home!" Runs up and just snuggles right into my beard and loves it. It's hard to stay grumpy at that. I'm sure it's not quite as euphoric as a granddaughter, but this is the best thing I got, and it does pretty good.
It is not as euphoric as a granddaughter, although I am going to get you on the screen because it's.
Hi, buddy. No pause. Can I kisses? He's the most like we had company come over today. He does not care that it's a new person he's never seen. He's like, "Oh, hey, you're large and warm. I'll snuggle you. That's fine." He does not care in the slightest. He
I
is
really
absolutely
apologize
fearless.
for the close up of your face, but the cat
It's okay.
really is kind of cute.
I'm sure we've seen worse things. But yeah, he's pretty adorable. We got him at a
That's pretty
farm
good.
the other weekend. He was just part of a litter of barn cats. They also had corgi puppies and golden retriever puppies.
Yes.
That was also helping me avoid the sad news blues. Was holding corgi puppies for a little while. It's kind of hard to go wrong with that.
Yeah, not really. It's a dog.
Whoa! Like I said, motor skills are still work in progress.
So we did say this was going to be a light-hearted. What did you call it? An ear bleach episode?
Yeah, you're like, for those of you who may or may not know, there's a term on the internet called eye bleach, which is after you see something awful on the internet, you go and you look at pictures of kittens or puppies or naked women or whatever it is that makes you feel better. And this is like ear bleach if you're listening. Eye bleach if you're watching, I guess,
Okay,
too.
the first two of those things are good. The third one not so good. So
I mean, yeah,
yeah,
whatever floats your boat.
there you go.
This makes me happy and perforates me slightly, but mostly makes me happy. he just really likes my face.
this this episode is not going to make it on as a podcast, but it's going to be a great replay. I'm going to have to edit the description.
Get some good clips for YouTube.
I'm
We'll
going
have
to
some
have to
cute little
edit the
clips for
description
Facebook.
of this one. Yes. Oh, that's
Oh.
awesome.
Hey, you can you kisses?
No, but I'll hold my paw over your mouth so you can't talk.
He's like, shut up, Will. Stop talking. Let me be cute.
Oh gosh.
Nope, not the microphone, little dude. So yeah,
Yeah.
there's no seriousness this week, and that's what we needed. You and me both needed it.
We did.
As was apparent when we came in, we sat down and we log in and we start talking about what we're going to talk about this week, and immediately our brains go straight to, have you heard about this article? Did you read this thing? What about this thing? And we had to like stop the last 5 minutes before the show starts and be like, no, stop, halt, desist. Metaphorically squirt ourselves with a water bottle and say no. We just
That's why we have a
that's
countdown
not this
so we
week.
can get back in character.
Exactly. Yeah. It's just thankfully this week was getting into a different kind of. It was getting out of character. I think this week for me at least. I had to turn off my cynicism and my trying to not dipsy doodle, but like tiptoe around complex and difficult topics, and just enjoy chatting with you on screen and having this little gaffer here. His
Okay,
debut.
I just have to go back to this. I'm going to stay on. My voice is going to stay on, but I just have to go back to looking at this stupid cat because that is so awesome.
Speaking of technological advancements in the podcast, I'm hoping eventually to have Kitten Cam set up.
Yeah,
So whatever he's doing, we can just have a little side box of him doing whatever it is he does.
There we go. Let's get the cat in there and a close up of your schnoz.
He'll be our new mascot.
See, if Tim would get on the show with his animals, I wouldn't mind the up the schnoz shot, but
It'd be normal for him.
we have up the schnoz with no kitten. It doesn't work quite the same.
Yeah. Kitten's way cooler. Hi, buddy. You just like the other side, don't you? Okay,
Yeah.
fine.
Apparently. Oh man, William, that's awesome. That is awesome.
I'm pretty happy with this decision.
At the end of the month, we will have been on air for a year.
Mm-hmm.
And so if any of you watching this on the replay, if you have any ideas for topics, we would love to have a fun topic for the end of the year that is not related to anything in the news if we can help it.
Yeah. It's been a really cool year of growing this podcast and learning how to do it, how to film it, how to light ourselves, how to record ourselves, how we want to talk about things. And it's been a really cool evolving of the process. And now we're kind of getting down to brass tacks where we need to really lock in the kind of content we want to do. And we figured out our hows and our background for doing it. Now we just need to make cool content and try to reach a bigger audience.
So on our website, I'm actually going to go there, Will, right now. So
Okay.
On our website, you can, right up in the upper corner, right here, you can give us a topic.
Okay.
It's really simple, really easy to do. It's only 5 questions. Really simple, really easy. If you're on a mobile device,
Kisses.
you can upload a video right from your phone. Makes it really easy to do.
Mm-hmm.
We would love to hear from you guys and what you want to hear in the show.
Yeah.
As that's the reason we do this. Hey, there's a replay right there. We have a delayed shot of the show right there.
Kittenception, baby. As if we need
Uh,
more kitten in our lives. I mean, everyone needs more kitten in their lives, but
Everybody needs more kittens. So we would really like to get to know what you guys would like to see in the show.
yeah.
It's almost a year, and we sort of want to go in the direction that works for everybody, as long as it fits in our world of, we may argue, we may disagree, but that's all right.
hmm I was talking. I don't know if it wasn't you. I was talking. I was talking to another friend over breakfast this week, and we were talking about all the, the serious topical topics that we do. But we talked about how nice it is between myself and those other friends, but also between you and I, how the difference in talking with you about these difficult topics and talking with Joe Blow or someone on the internet or whatever is that no, like, we can talk with confidence that at the end of the conversation you're not going to hate me. You might disagree with me very very vehemently potentially, but that we're still going to love each other. Like, we're still going to have our relationship at the end of the day, no matter how much we might disagree on that topic. And so it's very freeing. It's very it's liberating. It makes talking about those things a lot less claustrophobic and a lot less oppressive for me at least.
Well, I think for both of us, I think that honestly, a part of the attraction of this is we can look at these hard things, and we don't agree all the time, and yet, as our motto is, it's okay to disagree. It is not a
Mm-hmm.
I'll agree to disagree, as that's not what we want to do either. It just is,
Yeah.
it's okay to disagree, and that has been our premise. And it's hard actually for us, or for me anyways, when we run into people who are not okay if you disagree.
Mm-hmm.
It makes for a much harder conversation, as you sort of have to dance around it, as you don't want to offend,
Yeah.
and they're going to take offense if you don't agree with them, and that's hard to do.
Exactly.
So
So yeah, we no matter what our topics are or what our like what the specific discussion of a given episode is, that's still the ethos we want to carry forward. That's our modus operandi.
yes, for the record, William, I'm just going to
Mhm.
go here for just a second. I'm going to go and show you one of our first episodes.
Oh no.
Oh, yes.
Oh no. I mean, you could
Oh,
probably just go
yes.
right to our YouTube page, and our little like banner video
That's
is
where
from
I'm
one of
going
our
to
early
go.
episodes.
So I'm going
Oh
to put
boy, here
you
we
on
go.
screen, and I'm going to get it up. And so I'm just going to throw you and the cat on, and you can talk.
I mean, okay, so as we get into this, in my defense, this was a long time ago. I had less equipment and less knowledge. I didn't have the lighting. I didn't have the camera. I didn't even have, depending on when this video is taken, I might not have even had a decent microphone at the time. It's it's easy to feel like, when we look at our listener count, our download count relative to um, measure twice, cut once. It's easy to kind of be like, oh, we're just not doing that great. But even if we don't have the audience yet, we've come a long way in how well our show is produced and how well it's made. I take a lot of pride in that. Isn't that right? We take a lot of pride in that. He's very interested in the microphone, so I'm trying to speak up but move it away from my face a little bit so he can't get it. Whew. It's been a process. If nothing else, with talking, especially in the last like 2 months or so, with the more intense interviews we've had or guests we've had, is really helping me to how to word this. It's helping me learn how to manage my emotions in these conversations, because when you're talking with somebody in a professional stance like this, or as professional as we get, there's a certain level of social etiquette that needs to be employed, and all too often on the internet we just don't have that. It's easy to yell at people, and it's easy to get upset, especially if you're not even on video or audio. And I'm one of those people. I'm very happy to duke it out with somebody in the comment section on something on Facebook, and doing this in person lends a whole lot of perspective to that.
Okay, I got one for you.
Okay, lay it on me.
I still this is what I wanted from our show. I want not like this is we're not being an example today of being angry at each other and coming together at the end. Now we're being an example of we already were angry at each other, and this is the us coming together part. This is the meeting together.
We really need to get angry once so they can see it, because I don't think anybody's ever seen it.
We have to make a point then of not talking about these things beforehand.
Well, I thought this was going to be the one, as we ended on such a... It wasn't an angry note. We both said at the end, man, we're going to have a good conversation Saturday.
Half an hour before the show we were arguing about stuff.
And here we
half
are.
An hour was enough time.
We really get mad at each other, folks. Really, we do. We don't like it. I mean, we love each other, but, you know, those I love, I yell at.
Did we ever end up getting it like losing it? I don't think we've ever
I don't think so. Not that I remember.
There was one episode we got pretty heated. I want to say it was about that preacher guy in Calgary and some of the people that he associates with. I think I got pretty hot under the collar about it, at least.
You got hot under the collar, but you get hot under the collar about a lot of things that I don't. So
this is true. This is very. It
takes a lot to get me hot under the collar.
Yeah. And I'm rarely hot under the collar with you. It's more with the people you're talking about. They make me upset sometimes.
And we agreed with the guy in Calgary that he was a bit of a tool.
A nonce.
Bit of a tool. I like that word better.
Yeah, bit of a tool.
So we agreed on
a very useful one. Kind of a useless tool that just takes up space in your toolbox, but you never really get rid of because you're worried you're going to need it someday. Turns out you didn't need it ever. Just like we don't need him ever.
I don't know. He provides for good entertainment.
I don't know if good is the right word. It's effective. It instills emotions, for sure.
It does instill emotions. He actually was arrested again.
Oh, really?
He was out of the country for a number of months, and
This is good news. This qualifies as good news that he was arrested. I'm okay with this. This counts.
Well, he landed on an airplane in Calgary on a private jet, no less, and the Canadian Border Patrol was there to arrest him for whatever reason they didn't say. But he was arrested. But of course, it's the overbearing government. So.
Oh yes. Private jet must be nice. All that Fox News money paying off.
Do you know who this guy is?
Peter Boghossian.
I've heard the name.
I'm going to Google him right now while we talk.
You should Google him right now. Is this what we do when we want to learn something?
American philosopher. Wikipedia, do your thing.
Look on Wikipedia. It's always right.
That's exactly what I'm doing. He's an American philosopher and pedagogist. Born in Boston.
What the heck is a pedagogist?
Pedagogist, most commonly understood as the approach to teaching, is the theory and practice of learning and how this process influences and is influenced by the social, political, and psychological development of learners. Pedagogy, taken as an academic discipline, is the study of how knowledge and skills are imparted in an educational concept, and it considers the interactions that take place during learning. Both the theory and practice of pedagogy vary greatly as they reflect different social, political, and cultural contexts. Apparently, Peter Boghossian coined the term street epistemology.
Interesting.
He was involved in creating studies of fair.
Okay, I'm going to have another one in just a minute here, Will. So while you look, I'm going to go back to preview mode. Give me one moment. I'm just working behind the scenes. Okay, so this is one of the early shows, Will. We have a message from Tim Van Hoovel. Bring back Will, he's better looking. Isn't that the truth?
Damn straight. Damn straight.
I
still have all my hair. Most of my hair.
Most of your hair. Yes.
Most of my hair. It's running away. I blame your genetics for it, too. We could lose the emojis, though. Or maybe that's just Tim's profile picture. In which case,
his profile pic.
I am judging you, Tim. I am judging you.
I'm not judging you, Tim. But hey,
That's
I like
okay.
your mother's.
Again, I'm out of Tim's range, so
I like your
can make all
mother's
the
profile
comments I want.
pic.
Oh yeah, she's gorgeous.
As a fun
That's it.
fact, I used to go to Tim's house and watch hockey, as I used to work for Tim, and I would fall asleep on his couch. And we're gonna have to have him in on this show at some point to tell us a few stories, because I'm sure he was throwing things at me trying to wake me up. It was stressful working for Tim, so I needed my rest after the show.
Well,
We've come a long way, baby, since that episode.
yes, we have. Oh man, that's like a whole other world a year ago.
That was a year ago.
I mean, it was literally a whole other world. I was on the other end of the continent, almost, not quite. I was in central Canada, not quite eastern Canada,
Yeah.
a long ways away, 4,000 kilometers plus.
Which, for those of us in the 8% of the world who don't do the metrics system, it's something in miles. I don't know how far it is.
Yeah, it's about 4,000 upright dishwashers,
There you
because
go.
apparently you'll use anything but the metric system.
Isn't
Did
that
you
true?
see that there was an article a little while ago, and it was like measuring some sinkhole, and it's like the sinkhole is the width of nearly 10 dishwashers, and the internet collectively was like, "Wow, you guys will literally measure with anything before you use meters."
Well, the U.S. has a habit of using anything except
What the British use.
for actual measurements.
Oh yeah,
This aircraft carrier is the length of 14 football fields, or
thanks.
apparently it's measured in dishwashers, or it's the width of my little thumb 14 times. Like, why can't we just use what the rest of the world uses
And
and
I
go metric?
I blame the people
actually
who started
works.
by measuring horses by hands. I think they're at fault. They started it. It's their fault.
Well, that would be Britain, I
Yeah,
believe.
it's their fault.
It's the Brits' fault.
I'm gonna blame them. It's easy. It's they're across the ocean. They can't do anything to me.
So, since we're on this topic and it means absolutely nothing, so why in a country as advanced enough as to use the metric system for just about anything, do they still weigh in stones?
Oops.
Or do they still weigh in stones?
I'm not actually sure.
Or is it metric now?
I honestly don't know.
I
I feel like they still measure horses by stone, I would assume. And I think it's still like, as far as I understand, it's still used like kind of like a colloquialism, like something is, 20 stone or whatever it is. I don't know if it's used for precise measurement.
the colloquialism
assuming
is,
it
do you have the stones to do such and such?
Oh, that's more American, but yeah.
Anyways, William, it's been 40 minutes of eye and ear bleach,
Yep.
because they've had to listen to us. We haven't argued. We haven't talked about any of those things that we normally talk about, which has been really great.
It's refreshing.
Next week, we probably will go back to it because that's what we do.
Everything in moderation, though.
So Brad was looking up street.
Epistemology.
What is that?
Epistemology is okay. I'm going to look up a definition here so I don't get it wrong.
Oh, get it wrong.
Epistemology, I think, is philosophical study. That's I'm not quite right.
So what is it, since you looked it up?
I'm pulling it up. Is the philosophical study of the nature, origin, and limits of human knowledge. The term is derived from the Greek, yada yada yada. As a discipline, I'm more looking for. Yeah. Epistemology is basically the study of knowledge, collection of knowledge, use of knowledge, etc., in various forms. So it's a very broad term, to say the least.
It's the study of knowledge. Is that a fair?
More or less, yeah. Study of knowledge, the collection of knowledge, how knowledge is shared.
So you're
It
getting
sounds very
knowledge
biblical. It sounds very
about
theological.
knowledge? It sounds like something that only a professor would dream up to keep his tenure.
Yeah. It's an old word. It's Old Greek. So probably, yeah.
Well, on that note of the jab at professors of need to keep their tenure, which we know absolutely zero about,
Mhm.
which is about most of the topics on this show we know very little about.
For real, though.
But we can really have an opinion about him.
Oh, yeah. Opinions are like buttholes. Everyone has one. And you never really like to examine your own until something's really wrong with it.
On that note, I'm going to let you finish the show off.
All right, everybody. Stay safe and don't die.